Imagine this. You're the new kid at school, but this school is a galactic academy, and all your classmates are towering, super strong aliens who think you're a joke. This is Ethan's first day. He's just a human, small and fragile compared to the creatures around him, all built for battle. He can feel their skeptical gazes, hear their quiet snickers. In this galaxy, humans are seen as clever but weak, good for crunching numbers, not for commanding starfleets. As Ethan stands in the immense academy hall, a deep, mechanical voice welcomes the new cadets. He tries to stand tall, but his heart is pounding. Then something impossible happens. A flash of light erupts from the central AI console. Calm voice cuts through the hall. ID detected, Ethan Parker, cadet, upgrading to commander. The entire hall goes silent. Aliens freeze. One of them growls, "Did the system just make a joke?" But the AI is dead serious. Upgrade confirmed, Ethan Parker is now commander. Ethan is stunned. He's a cadet here to learn. How can he be a commander? A tall, blue-skinned alien steps forward protesting. A human cannot command fleets. But the AI is unwavering. Fleet assignments pending. Suddenly, red alerts flash across the hall. An unknown object is hurtling toward them at incredible speed. Cadets scramble, shouting in dozens of different languages. In the middle of the chaos, everyone looks to their new, unexpected commander. They look to Ethan. He swallows his fear, his voice coming out louder and steadier than he expected. Prepare for engagement. The aliens hesitate for a split second. Then instinct takes over. Ethan studies the holographic map, his mind racing. Deploy interceptors on a triangular formation. Focus on shielding the fleet's center, he commands. To everyone's astonishment, the aliens obey. The fleet moves with a grace and precision that feels right. Ethan's strategy works perfectly. The interceptors surround the unknown ship, boxing it in and neutralizing the threat. The hall erupts in whispers of awe. These battle-hardened aliens had never seen a human think so quickly, so creatively under real fire. The AI's voice returns. Observation. Human intuition exceeds expected parameters. Ethan Parker, continue to lead. Just as Ethan starts to process what just happened, a secret, encrypted message appears on his console from the Academy's central command. Prepare for the trial of 7. You are chosen, not by skill, but by potential. Before he can even ask what that means, the alarms blare again, louder this time. A massive fleet of unknown ships appears on the radar, their movements coordinated and lethal. The aliens who had laughed at him just minutes ago now look at him with a mixture of fear and respect. This small human, this accidental commander, is their only hope. Ethan clenches his fists, his eyes fixed on the holographic battlefield. Let's show them what humans can do, he whispers. And with that, the boy who felt so small takes his first step toward changing the galaxy forever. My heart was still hammering against my ribs from my first command. Those unknown ships had backed off, but the AIS words were stuck on a loop in my head. Prepare for the trial of 7. What did that even mean? All I knew was, whatever it was, I couldn't face it alone. The AI called me to the council hall. Imagine a massive chamber just floating above the academy, like a giant silver cloud. Inside, 7 platforms glowed in a circle, each with a symbol for a different alien species. Choose your allies wisely, the AI's voice echoed. Only together can you survive the trials. My eyes swept across the platforms. These weren't the aliens from the storybooks. There was Zyra, a serpentine creature with shimmering scales and 3 unnerving, glowing eyes, known for her psychic foresight. Next to her stood Korvax, a warrior built like a mountain of steel, unmatched in strength but with a temper like a volcano. Then there was Luma, a tiny floating ball of energy who could hack any machine, and Threll, a silent predator from a shadow world, with claws that could slice through starship hulls. There was also Rin, a shapeshifter whose loyalty was as fluid as their form, Velok, a strategist whose mind outpaced computers, but who held a deep-seated hatred for humans, and finally, Farah, a healer who could mend any wound in an instant, but had never stepped foot off her home planet. I swallowed, my throat suddenly dry. Each one was a powerhouse, and each one was a huge risk. One bad call, and we were all cosmic dust. Trust your instincts, the AI whispered. Your humanity is your greatest weapon. I stepped forward. Zyra's 3 eyes focused on me, and for a second I felt like she was reading my soul. But it wasn't fear I felt. It was a strange connection, a spark of trust. Korvax let out a roar. Do not let him command us. But Luma, the little energy being, just floated closer, pulsing with what felt like silent encouragement. Taking a deep breath, I made my choices. Zira, Luma, Threll, and Farah. The others looked furious, but the AI's voice cut through the tension. You will need the remaining 3, but they will come when the trials demand it. For now, prepare your crew. There was no time to second guess. The AI threw a star map into the air, 5 planets blinking red under attack from the same unknown armada. Our fleet's engines roared to life. My new crew moved like a well-oiled machine, but you could feel the tension, thick enough to cut with a knife. Trust had to be earned out here. Then during our first jump through hyperspace, I saw it. That weird energy signature from before, the one that had tracked me. It was following us through the warp lanes, flickering in and out of existence, almost like it was laughing. Zira's eyes widened. It knows you, Ethan, she whispered. It's waiting for you to act. I have never sensed a presence like this. My stomach dropped. Whatever was out there, it wasn't just an enemy. It was personal. Our first mission, a mining world called Drexar 9. Raiders had taken over, enslaving the population. The second we dropped out of hyperspace, alarms screamed. The raider ships were sleek, black, and armed with weapons that tore through our shields like they were paper. My mind raced. The AI's words came back to me. Your humanity is your greatest weapon. We're unpredictable. We're creative. So I did something no logical commander would. I sent out a decoy fleet, drawing their fire, while our main ships slipped in on a hidden approach. Luma hacked their comms, sowing chaos. Threll and Zira led a ground team, moving like shadows to disable the enemy's control towers, while Farah stayed back to patch up the wounded. And in the middle of it all, I had this wild realization. My small human mind, running on instinct and gut feelings, was outsmarting entire alien warships. They relied on logic and force. I was improvising. We won. Drexar 9 was free. As we watched the citizens cheering from the planet below, my alien crew looked at me with something new in their eyes. Awe. A human, the supposedly fragile species, had just led them to victory. But before we could even catch our breath, the AI's voice returned. Trial 1 complete, the next trial awaits. Gather the remaining allies, the galaxy watches. This wasn't just a war, this was a test. A test of leadership, of trust, of what it means to be human in a galaxy that has forgotten. I clenched my fists. I was just a cadet a few days ago. Now I'm a commander, and I was ready to show the entire universe that humanity is far from finished. Ethan's fleet cruised through the silent, dark expanse of space. The victory at Drexar 9 had definitely boosted morale, but let's be real, the galaxy was far from safe. The AI's words still echoed in his mind. The next trial awaits. Your instincts will be tested against the unknown. Ethan tightened his grip on the command console. You could feel the tension crackling in the air, even with his crew working like a well-oiled machine. His new alien allies respected him, sure, but fear still lingered. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what was hiding just beyond the next warp lane. And then, it happened. The sensors screamed. A massive alien armada materialized out of nowhere, more organized and deadly than anything Ethan had ever faced. Their ships looked like jagged shards of black crystal, moving in perfect, terrifying synchronization. Each vessel bristled with energy weapons, their shields glowing like molten metal. This wasn't some random attack. This was a hunt. Korvax, the hulking warrior, roared. They are too strong. Retreat. But Ethan just shook his head. No, humans don't retreat when others panic. We fight smart. The aliens exchanged skeptical glances. To them, humans were fragile, often too weak for a direct fight. But Ethan's intuition, That gut feeling he'd honed through countless simulations told him there was a weakness. Luma, hack their shield frequencies. Zyra, scan for patterns in their movement. Threll and Farah, get the boarding teams ready. I need every angle covered. The unknown ships advanced, their energy beams slicing through the void. The fleet's shields took the hits, but cracks were already starting to form. Panic whispered in the back of Ethan's mind, but he shoved it down. Fear is a tool, not a master. And then he saw it. A strange, pulsing energy signature weaving among the enemy ships, moving like it was alive. Zyra's eyes widened. It's the same presence. It's tracking you, Ethan. It knows what you're going to do before you do it. Ethan's pulse quickened. This thing, this force, it was observing him, studying his decisions. But instead of fear, a spark of determination ignited within him. Humans thrive on being unpredictable. He was going to use that. He issued a risky command: divide the fleet. Draw them into a trap. Korvax, you bait the front line. Luma, scramble their sensors. Everyone, follow my lead. The aliens hesitated. The move was incredibly dangerous, but they trusted him. Ethan's human intuition was their guide. Every maneuver was calculated, yet completely unpredictable. The enemy faltered, confused by patterns they couldn't possibly anticipate. That's when Zyra's psychic foresight picked up a fatal flaw in the Armada's formation. Ethan seized the moment. All units, converge on that gap, full power. Energy beams, missiles, and laser strikes erupted in a blinding display. The enemy ships faltered, some vaporizing instantly. The remaining vessels broke formation and retreated, leaving a trail of fire and debris in their wake. They had won. The bridge erupted with cheers and astonished whispers. The aliens stared at Ethan with a mixture of awe and disbelief. He was small, human, and yet his mind had just outsmarted an entire armada. But there was no time to celebrate. The AI's voice rang out, calm and ominous. Trial 2 begins. You have passed the test of strategy. The true enemy awaits within your own ranks. Ethan's stomach dropped. Betrayal. One of his own allies could be a spy. He realized these trials weren't just about combat. They were about leadership, trust, and survival. As he stared out at the stars, that pulsing energy signature returned. Hovering just beyond sensor range, it had been observing him. Yes, but why? Was it testing him, watching to see if humans could rise above fear, doubt, and chaos? He clenched his fists. Then we'll show it, he whispered. We'll prove that humans can lead, fight, and survive. Against anything. Zyra approached him, her eyes glowing faintly. Commander, you have something they do not. Instinct, creativity, courage. Even in chaos, you see what others cannot. Ethan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. This was only the beginning. For the first time, he felt it. The spark of leadership, the thrill of command, the undeniable power of being human in a universe that had doubted them at every turn. The unknown energy pulsed again, almost as if acknowledging him. A silent promise or a warning. Ethan stared into the void, ready. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but he knew one thing for sure. Humans could lead. And he was ready to become the commander the galaxy never saw coming. The victory over the alien armada was short-lived. Just as we caught our breath, the AI's voice, cold and dispassionate, echoed through every ship in the fleet. Trial 3 begins. You will face the trial of 7. Only the worthy will survive. My heart hammered against my ribs. These weren't simulations anymore, this was real. The AI had already tested our instincts and our courage. Now it was demanding something more, something harder. Leadership under impossible pressure. A massive holographic projection flickered to life above the fleet, revealing 7 mysterious planets. Each one radiated danger, each one presented a moral dilemma. The AI's voice was chillingly clear. Each trial challenges a different human quality. Choose wisely, fail, and the consequences are irreversible. My eyes scanned the holograms. The first planet, Zipheron, was a nightmare of violent, perpetual storms. Lightning lashing its surface without pause. It looked completely uninhabitable, but the AI indicated survivors were trapped down there, needing rescue. Zira, my second in command, narrowed her eyes. Commander, many would die in that storm. It's lethal. Even the strongest alien ships couldn't survive for long. I looked at my crew. Luma and Threll were already preparing their tools, their faces set with determination. Farah's gentle glow pulsed as she readied her healing powers. A quiet resolve settled over me. This is why humans survive, I said, my voice low but firm. We risk what others fear. We adapt. We plunged into Zifferon's atmosphere. The ships groaned as thunder shook them to their core, lightning arcing across the viewports. Our energy shields strained, threatening to buckle. My heart was pounding, but my mind was a razor's edge. Threll, lead the ground team to the survivors. Luma, synchronize our shields with the storm's frequency. Zyra, use your foresight to call out the lightning strikes. We move fast, or we fail. The team moved like a single, perfect machine. My own quick thinking, that uniquely human ability to improvise, kept us one step ahead of the chaos. We pulled the survivors out and barely escaped as the storms raged with renewed fury. The second trial, Morlith, tested our loyalty. A powerful alien warlord, pretending to be an ally, demanded we hand over a group of human prisoners in exchange for safe passage. My alien crew members were ready for a fight. Korvax growled, "Why negotiate? We should just destroy them all." I shook my head. Because humans think differently. We weigh the consequences, not just the raw power. I came up with a bluff, a clever ruse to convince the warlord that surrendering the prisoners would spring a deadly hidden trap on his forces. He bought it, hook, line, and sinker, and retreated without a single shot fired. We had saved lives through cunning, not just brute force. The third trial, Eclipse 7, was the most perilous yet, a test of both courage and morality. A rogue AI threatened to obliterate an entire planet unless I sacrificed a part of my own fleet. The aliens on my bridge hesitated, some even pleading for us to retreat and save ourselves. But I couldn't abandon an entire world. My mind raced. There had to be another way. Combining Luma's incredible hacking skills with Zira's foresight, we found a hidden flaw, a tiny crack in the rogue AI's programming. I led a precise surgical strike that neutralized the threat without losing a single ship. Once again, human intuition and creativity had triumphed where pure logic and force would have failed. But it wasn't over. The AI's voice returned, calm and calculating as ever. 4 trials complete, 3 remain. One more mistake, Commander, and all will be lost. A cold knot tightened in my chest. These trials weren't just about winning battles. They were about proving that humanity could lead, inspire, and survive where others would fall. My crew, a mix of species from across the galaxy, had started to trust me completely. But the tension was a living thing aboard the ship. Somewhere, that mysterious, powerful energy signature was watching, judging our every move. This was more than a test of strength, it was a test of what it means to be human. I stared at the holographic map. 3 more trials awaited, each one more dangerous, more unpredictable, and more personal than the last. And out there in the darkness, the unknown presence pulsed, as if daring us to reach beyond our limits. I clenched my fists, a fire burning within me. "Then we'll show them," I whispered to the empty bridge. "Humans never back down, humans never surrender. Humans always adapt." The fleet surged forward, ready to face whatever came next. The galaxy is vast and deadly, but as I lead my crew into the unknown, one truth shines brighter than any star. We are far stronger than anyone ever imagined. And the trials of 7 are only just beginning. Silence. A cold, endless silence between the stars. That's what surrounded us as my fleet, the last hope of so many worlds, glided through the void. We'd just secured victory after victory at Zifferon, Morlith, and Eclipse 7. My crew, a patchwork of species from across the galaxy, finally started to trust the human at the helm. But me? I felt a chill that had nothing to do with deep space. The words of the ancient AI echoed in my mind. The true enemy awaits within your own ranks. I wasn't just being paranoid. There were glitches, anomalies, Data transmissions cut short, cryptic signals that vanished before they could be traced, decisions made by some of our alien cadets that defied all logic. Someone was feeding information to the enemy. Pacing the bridge of my flagship, I scanned the faces of my most trusted officers. Luma, the ethereal light being, hovered by the console, her glow a little dimmer than usual. Zira, my psychic strategist, her 3 eyes darting back and forth, sensing the unease. Even Farah, my fiercely loyal bodyguard, seemed tense, her energy field crackling with unspoken fear. Ethan. Zira's voice was a whisper in my mind. We're being watched. Not by them, but by someone in this room. My jaw tightened. This was it. The moment I'd been dreading. Then we find them, I said, my voice low but firm. No assumptions, no mistakes. Trust is earned. Right now, suspicion is survival. My second-in-command Korvax let out a low growl. Suspicion is for the weak. Find the traitor and crush them. I held up a hand. No, that's not how humans win. Brute force will tear this fleet apart from the inside. We'll be smart, we'll be careful, and we will expose them. The first threat appeared thanks to Luma. She'd been quietly sifting through terabytes of fleet communications. Commander, she pulsed, her light flickering with urgency. I've intercepted a coded transmission. Someone is sending our coordinates to the unknown armada. The data packet materialized on my screen. The origin point? The personal terminal of Rin, the shapeshifter. Rin, who had always remained neutral, distant, and unreadable. I had sensed ambiguity, but never outright betrayal. I knew I needed more than just a signal trace. I needed undeniable proof. The next day, during what everyone thought were routine fleet maneuvers, I laid my trap. I issued a fake set of strategic coordinates, broadcasting them across a secure channel I knew was being monitored. I sent a small, unmanned decoy squadron to a supposedly vulnerable system, making it look like a major tactical error. Just as I'd hoped, Rin took the bait. The moment his unauthorized transmission went out, Zyra's psychic sense flared. It's him, she confirmed, her mental voice laced with pained certainty. His mind. It's a storm of deceit. I called an immediate assembly in the command chamber. The tension was thick enough to choke on as the senior crew gathered. Rin hovered in the center of the room, his form shifting nervously between different alien species. Rin, I began, keeping my voice steady. We know about your transmission. Who are you working for? His form destabilized, shifting rapidly as claws and defensive plates sprouted from his body. You don't understand, he shrieked. I was ordered. I had no choice. My eyes narrowed. Humans always find a choice, I told him, even when it seems impossible. You're free to act or face the consequences of your actions. Before anyone could react, alarms blared through the ship. The unknown armada. They'd found us. Rin's betrayal had led them right to our doorstep. My mind raced. No time for anger, no time for regret. Just action. This is what humans do. We improvise. Luma, feed them false telemetry. Zyra, Threll, prepare your boarding teams for close quarters combat. Farah, with me. We split the fleet, using asteroid fields and nebulae for cover, creating a chaotic battlefield where their numbers and rigid tactics became a disadvantage. Realizing his life was now forfeit, Rin lunged for the ship's core systems, trying to sabotage our shields. But Farah was faster. A wave of her energy field enveloped him, neutralizing him instantly without a single shot fired. The battle was pure chaos. Explosions lit up the void, but under my command, using a blend of human unpredictability and alien precision, we held the line. We turned their trap into our tactical masterpiece. After the plasma settled, I faced my crew, my family. We survived because humans don't rely on rigid logic. We adapt, we improvise, we stay calm when everything is falling apart. That's a strength every single one of you can learn. Zira's 3 eyes glowed with a newfound respect. You are more than a commander, Ethan. You are a symbol of what humanity can be. We were unified, but the galaxy was still a dangerous place. The trials of 7 were far from over. I stared out at the endless stars, my fists clenched. They doubt us, I whispered to the void. But we survive, we adapt, and we always, always rise. Sound of a low, tense hum like a starship's bridge in hyperspace. The stars warped into long, luminous streaks as the fleet tore through hyperspace. Ethan's victory over the traitor had forged a new bond of trust with his crew, but a cold weight still settled in his chest. The AI's message echoed in his mind, chilling and final. Trial 6 begins, the ultimate confrontation approaches. The galaxy will judge your species. Ethan's eyes were fixed on the galactic map. A red tide was spreading across it, an armada of hundreds of ships, each one larger and more menacing than anything he'd ever faced. They were converging on a cluster of inhabited systems, a coordinated strike aimed at wiping out entire civilizations. Planets that both humans and their alien allies had sworn to protect were now in the crosshairs. Korvax, the hulking alien warrior, let out a low growl. "We can't fight them, Ethan. They will tear us apart." But Ethan shook his head, his gaze unwavering. "Humans don't run from impossible odds, Korvax. We fight smart, and we fight together." Just then, a familiar, mysterious energy signature flickered on the sensors, hovering just beyond their detection range. Ethan's heart hammered against his ribs. The force that had been watching him since the very first trial was here, observing this final, massive confrontation. He took a deep breath, his voice cutting through the tension on the bridge. Luma hacked their fleet networks. Zira, scan their formations for patterns. Threll and Korvax, prepare your assault teams. Farah, get the medbay ready for casualties. The enemy struck without warning. Colossal beams of energy sliced through the void, threatening to rip the fleet to shreds. The bridge shuddered violently under the assault. But Ethan had a plan. A chaotic, unpredictable human plan that no alien commander could ever anticipate. "Split the fleet. Unpredictable formations now," he commanded. Some ships broke off, acting as decoys, drawing the brunt of the enemy fire. Others executed sudden, impossible flanking maneuvers, appearing where they were least expected. He was blending alien technology with raw human intuition, improvising tactics in real time. The alien commanders hesitated, their rigid strategies crumbling in the face of such beautiful, organized chaos. They'd never seen a species fight like this. Humans didn't just follow orders, they adapted, they created, they improvised. Suddenly, Zira's voice pierced the air, her psychic senses locked onto something. "There's a central ship. It's controlling their entire network." Ethan's response was instant. "Target it. Luma, you're with me. We're hacking their systems remotely. Korvax, Threll, take your boarding teams and give them a distraction they won't forget. Disable that control node." The battle became a symphony of chaos and brilliance. Ships exploded in silent, fiery blossoms. Energy beams crisscrossed the void, and the once mighty armada struggled to maintain its cohesion. Ethan's human instinct, his gut feelings combined with split-second decisions, was turning certain annihilation into a tactical masterpiece. Then the mysterious energy signature revealed itself. A massive glowing entity of pure energy materialized above the battlefield. Its presence was overwhelming, ancient, and powerful. But it didn't radiate hostility. It radiated curiosity. In that moment, Ethan understood. This cosmic intelligence hadn't been threatening them. It had been testing them all along, watching to see if a species dismissed as weak and fragile could rise above logic, fear, and doubt to lead the galaxy. With a new surge of determination, Ethan focused all his will on the central enemy ship. He and Luma bypassed their firewalls, their fingers flying across the consoles. On board the enemy vessel, Korvax and Threll's teams fought their way through, alarms blaring as energy shields flickered and died. Ethan's plan worked flawlessly. The enemy armada faltered, disorganized and utterly vulnerable. Zira whispered, her voice filled with awe. "It's unprecedented. No alien fleet could have done this." The colossal energy being pulsed brightly, a silent acknowledgement of Ethan's victory. The remaining enemy ships broke formation and retreated, leaving the fleet battered, exhausted, but victorious. Ethan stood on the bridge, gazing at the star-dusted aftermath. They had survived an overwhelming force. Humans, tiny, fragile humans, had proven their worth. His instincts, his creativity, his courage. It had turned impossible odds into a triumph. The AI's voice chimed softly, a quiet note in the vast silence. Trial 6 complete. You have proven human ingenuity and leadership. One final trial remains. Prepare. Ethan's heart pounded. The cosmic intelligence hovered in the void, silent, judging, and waiting for humanity's final test. He clenched his fists, a fire in his eyes. We've come this far. No matter what comes next, humans will rise, humans will endure, and humans will lead. The stars stretched before them, endless and full of danger. But for the first time, Ethan felt truly unstoppable. The final trial awaited. The fleet drifted through the silent void, stars like distant campfires against the black. 6 trials had tested Ethan's courage, his mind, and the very core of his humanity. Now only the final test remained. The AI's voice, cold and precise, echoed across the command bridge. Trial 7 begins. This is the ultimate test. The galaxy watches and humanity's future hangs in the balance. On the holographic map, a system unlike any other materialized. A massive swirling anomaly pulsed at its center, warping space itself. The AI called it the Crucible, a forge where a cosmic intelligence would challenge the limits of mind, body, and spirit. Zyra, his alien navigator, blinked her 3 eyes, a nervous shimmer in their depths. Ethan, I've never felt a presence like this. It's not just watching. It's judging every single one of our decisions, our instincts. Ethan clenched his fists, a fire igniting in his gut. Then we'll show them they judged us right. Humans don't just survive. We adapt, we lead, and we rise. The Crucible loomed, its gravitational pull catching the fleet. Ships shuddered as violent energy storms tore at their shields. Alien cadets, once so confident, now panicked. But through the chaos, Ethan's voice cut like a beacon, calm, human intuition guiding them through the storm. Luma, stabilize the fleet's energy cores. Threll, Korvax form protective corridors. Zira, read the anomaly, predict its changes. Farah, keep our people safe, he commanded, each word precise, each decision a lifeline. At the anomaly's heart, a radiant colossal form took shape, the cosmic intelligence itself. Its voice resonated not in their ears, but directly in Ethan's mind. Human, you have shown courage, strategy, and instinct, but can you lead not just for survival, but for the galaxy itself? The test was immediate. Violent waves of energy ripped ships apart. Ghostly enemy fleets materialized from the anomaly, attacking with relentless fury. The order Ethan had built threatened to crumble into chaos. But his mind worked faster than any computer, any alien strategist. He began to weave a tapestry of tactics, blending human creativity with alien technology. He ordered decoy maneuvers, redirected energy flows, and called for precision strikes that seemed impossible. Luma hacked the anomaly's energy field. Zira predicted its chaotic shifts, and Farah's shields held strong for the wounded. In that moment, Ethan understood the truth. This wasn't a test of strength, but a test of inspiration. The aliens followed him because he made the impossible seem possible. Hours flew by like minutes. The fleet was battered, but it was not broken. Ethan made choices that no AI could predict, no alien could fathom. He relied on that uniquely human spark, the blend of creativity, courage, and sheer unpredictability, to turn impossible odds into victory. Finally, at the heart of the Crucible, he faced the last choice. A massive energy surge was building, powerful enough to annihilate the entire fleet. He could escape, saving himself and a few of his crew, or risk everything to protect the galaxy's innocent civilizations watching from afar. Ethan's voice was steady, unwavering. We protect the galaxy, all of it. He orchestrated a daring final maneuver, channeling the entire fleet's remaining energy into a single, coordinated strike against the anomaly's core. Alien ships followed his command flawlessly, their crews placing their trust not in a computer, but in his human instinct. The cosmic energy pulsed, recoiled, and then it dispersed. Silence. The stars returned to their peaceful slumber. The fleet had survived. The crucible was conquered. The cosmic intelligence appeared one last time, its light calm and radiant. Human, you have proven your species' worth. You are not just a survivor. You are a leader, commander of the galactic fleet. Ethan's chest swelled with a pride he'd never known. He was just a cadet from a small, overlooked planet. Now he stood as a symbol of humanity's true potential. His crew gathered around him, respect and awe shining in their eyes. Zira's voice trembled. You truly are extraordinary. Ethan smiled, looking at his team, his family. We did this together. Humans alone are clever, but together we are unstoppable. The cosmic intelligence pulsed one final time, an almost imperceptible nod of approval, before vanishing into the starlight. Ethan gazed outward, knowing the galaxy had changed forever. Humans were no longer underestimated. They had proven their courage, their adaptability, and their unyielding creativity. As the fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace, Ethan whispered, more to himself than to anyone else. The galaxy doubted us, but now they will see. Humans can lead, humans can endure, humans can conquer. And so, Ethan Parker became a legend, a symbol of hope and ingenuity in a universe that never saw them coming. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, full of new dangers and mysteries. But Ethan and his crew would face them all, because this was only the beginning. In the silent expanse of the cosmos, our fleet drifted, each ship a testament to a victory hard won. I am Commander Ethan Parker, and I now lead humanity. From the bridge of my flagship, I gaze out at the star-dusted tapestry, a sense of pride mingling with a deep, unsettling caution. We survived the trials of 7. We faced tests of courage, leadership, morality, and ingenuity. We showed the galaxy what humanity is made of. But the cryptic words of the AI still haunt my thoughts. This is not the end. Humanity's true test has only begun. For weeks we've been licking our wounds and celebrating our triumphs. The rhythmic hum of ship repairs, the crisp salutes of new recruits, the cheers echoing through the halls. These are the sounds of survival. Alien species that once dismissed us now look to humanity for guidance. We are no longer the fragile underdogs. We are strategists, innovators, leaders, yet a shadow lingers just beyond the light of our victory. The cosmic intelligence, that mysterious energy signature we encountered, hasn't vanished. It pulses faintly on our sensors, a silent observer, watching, waiting. It feels unfinished. Just as I was lost in thought, Zira approached, her 3 eyes glowing with a soft, concerned light. Commander, she began, her voice a low hum. The energy signature, it's not just observing anymore, it seems curious, almost as if it expects something from us. I frowned, my gaze fixed on the endless sea of stars. Then we must be ready. Whatever comes next, we won't be caught off guard. My words felt like a promise to myself as much as to her. We had earned our place, but the universe doesn't hand out permanent peace treaties. Suddenly, a new alert chimed through the bridge, cutting through the low thrum of the ship. A signal, unlike anything we'd ever seen. It wasn't a hostile fleet or a weapon signature. It was subtle, intricate, encoded in layers of mathematics so advanced they bordered on artistry. Our ship's AI, Luma, struggled to make sense of it. It's intelligent, Luma's synthesized voice announced, a rare note of uncertainty in her tone. Not a fleet, not a weapon, something alive, and it's reaching out to us. A jolt went through me. My pulse quickened. We had been tested by armies, by betrayal, by cosmic trials of sheer force. But this was different. This was a challenge of understanding. Korvax, ever the warrior, let out a low growl from his post. More threats? Haven't we earned a moment of peace? A faint smile touched my lips. Peace is a luxury, Korvax. Survival, leadership, courage. Those are the currencies of the galaxy, and if there's one thing humans are good at, it's adapting. With a firm nod, I gave the order. The fleet surged forward, leaping into hyperspace. The stars outside blurred into brilliant streaks of light, pulling us toward unknown systems, uncharted worlds, and mysteries far greater than any enemy we'd ever faced. As our ships carved a path through the void, that cosmic intelligence pulsed again, brighter than before. It felt like an acknowledgement of our victory, but also a silent new challenge. I stood tall on the bridge, the weight of command settling on my shoulders not as a burden, but as a mantle of resolve. My voice was steady, carrying across the comms to every ship in the fleet. We've faced the impossible. We've survived betrayal, war, and cosmic trials. Whatever comes next, humans will rise, and this time the galaxy will know our name. The stars stretched endlessly ahead, a canvas for our future. The trials of 7 were over, but humanity's story, our true story, has only just begun. And somewhere, in the silent, watchful darkness, the unknown waited, ready to see what we would become. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you're as excited as I am to see what lies beyond the next star, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter in humanity's grand adventure. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.